Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going over 10 new infinite or instant win combos with the new Lorwyn Eclipsed. Super excited for this set. We got some sweet combos coming up on the channel. These combos are for standard, they're for commander, they're for modern, some older formats as well. Kind of got a mix in here, but let's jump right into a first combo, which is actually a standard legal combo. We can make infinite frogs using Curel, the attendant first year, which is 3 mana for 3. It has this ability, you can tap 2 untapped creatures you control and copy target triggered ability you control and choose new targets for the copy. However, it says activate only once each turn. But if you have Kina, which says whenever a token that would be created under your control, you make a 1/1 green frog creature token, and Mirror Room, we're just using the Mirror Room part of the Fractured Realm Mirror Room card. Mirror Room gives you a triggered ability that creates a token copy of a creature. So if you have the Curel and the Kina out and you play the Mirror Room, that you can target the Kina with the first ability, tap the Kina and the Curel to copy that copy ability of Mirror Room, have that ability then target the Curel, right? And then have that resolve. You'll get another Curel here. Legend rule, you'll get another one that's untapped, and you'll also get a 1/1 green frog. And you still have the first ability, Mirror Room, on the stack. Tap the new Curel and the frog to copy this Mirror Room ability again. Target the Curel, and then just repeat over and over and over again. You will get infinite frogs this way. If you have anything that does like damage, when a creature comes into play, you'll be able to win right away. Impact tremor or something like that, but you could also just pass a turn and then next turn attack for infinite damage with all your frogs. This might work a little bit better in paper than on Arena, but nonetheless, you can get infinite frogs with Curel here in Mirror Room. All right, combo number 2 is Infinite Merfolk here. This one is legal in Modern with Splinter Twin. Another Splinter Twin target, the Deepway Navigator, is 2 mana for a 2/2 with Flash. It says, when this creature enters, untap each other merfolk you control. And as long as you attack with 3 or more merfolk you control get +1 power. So you could just play maybe this in a merfolk deck. You would have to play 3 colors. So maybe it's not the most competitive way to use Splinter Twin in Modern, but it is only 2 mana for this, and it does have Flash, so you can still do the same sort of like end of turn, flash this in, and then during my turn play Splinter Twin on it, make a copy of it, the copy comes into play, it untaps the original one with the Splinter Twin on it, and then you tap it again, make another copy. All those copies have haste, you attack for infinite damage, and just win right away. So you still get that sort of surprise, like, end of turn, and then main phase Splinter Twin action here, but you could also just play this in a Merfolk deck. Maybe that's good, maybe it's not, I don't really know. We'll see, but something you could do for fun, at least in Modern or Kitchen Table Magic. All right, our next combo is attacking for 24 using the Spine Rock Tyrant, which is 5 mana for a 6/6 dragon with Flying and Wither. So it deals damage to creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters. Most importantly, it says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell with a single target, you can copy it. And if you do, the spells gain Wither. Choose new targets for the copy. This card is pretty powerful. If you get it to resolve, you can do a ton of really powerful stuff. Burn spells, things like that. But a simple 1/2 punch with this is just playing bulk up on it and then copying the bulk up. So the first bulk up will give it 12 power, and the next bulk up copy will give it 24 power. Attack for the win. If you have, if they have blockers in the air, maybe you have a burn spell that can target 2 creatures, it'll double your burn spells, or anything to give it trample would work as well. But maybe this is worth it in some sort of pump spell deck, just having this at the top end and doubling all your pump spells, or in a burn deck, not sure, but this is a pretty simple 1/2 punch that you can do in standard. All right, let's go to our next combo, which is Champion of the Weird, getting infinite tokens and infinite life. Now this is a kind of a weird card, 4 mana for a 5/5 Goblin Berserker. Additional cost to cast it, you have to behold a goblin and exile it. So if you have a goblin in play, you can do that, or just reveal it from your hand and exile it. It has this ability to pay 1 life and blight 2, target opponent blights 2, and activate only as a sorcery. Now this basically, blight, if you're not sure what that means, it means you put 2 -1/-1 counters on something that you choose, and then your opponent does the same thing. But if you have Nest of Scarabs out, which I believe is Pioneer legal, or any older formats than that, whenever you put 1 or more -1/-1 counters on a creature, you create that many 1/1 black insect creature tokens. So you could even blight on, say, Champion of the Weird itself. if you had a Nest of Scarabs in play and then you played the Champion of Weird, you could pay the life, blight 2, and then you would get 2 insect tokens. Your opponent would also have to blight 2. So start destroying their board. You get the 2 insect tokens, and then you can use the ability again, and then blight 2 on one of your insect tokens, and then get an additional insect token from that. This does cost you a life every time you do this. But if you had something like the new Virulent Emissary or anything, whenever a creature comes into play, you gain a life. You'd actually go infinite on life because you're getting 2 insect tokens every time you're doing this. And so you are gaining life and generating infinite insect tokens, and you are also destroying your opponent's board. So this card just seems pretty powerful with Nest of Scarabs just on its own, but if you add in a life gain component, then it goes completely infinite. Interesting card. You could put it under Soul Cauldron as well and kind of go off that way, but just on its own seems like a pretty strong card to me. All right, let's go to our next infinite combo, or instant win combo. This is a Lockout opponent combo. Oh yeah, Opposition Agent with Mornsong Aria. Mornsong Aria is 3 mana legendary enchantment. Players can't draw cards or gain life, and at the beginning of each player's draw step, the player loses 3 life, searches their library for a card, puts it into their hand. So basically replaces their draws with a search. However, Opposition Agent, if you have this in play, says you control your opponents while they're searching, and then if they exile something, you can basically play that card and spend mana as if there's any mana to cast it. So if you say you have Opposition Agent, you go into turn, play that, and then you play Mornsong Aria. If they don't have an answer to the Opposition Agent or the Mornsong Aria right away, you basically get to control their entire draw step or anything they search for the rest of the game. So you can just make them search lands or anything you want to cast off the Opposition Agent. They'll lose 3 life, and then you get to search up whatever you want, so make sure you don't die, life gain or whatever during your turn, but you basically get to control your opponent's everything they draw for the rest of the game. So pretty much a lock on your opponent if they don't have an answer to this right away. Could be pretty powerful. I'm not sure. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you think this one could see some legacy play, maybe commander play. I don't know, maybe just kitchen table magic fun. I guess it's not so much fun when you're locking your opponent out, but could be fun for some people if you enjoy doing that. But I don't know. Let me know if you think this one is competitive. It seems pretty strong to me. All right, and then Mirror Form. This is probably one of my favorite cards revealed in this set. It's 6 mana for an instant. Each opponent or each non-land permanent you control becomes a copy of target non-aura permanent. So this card could win with a lot of different things. It turns all your tokens and other creatures, all your artifacts, enchantments, everything into one particular permanent. Now, obviously, this is pretty easy with Biovisionary if you just play that. Biovisionary says at the beginning of your end step, if you control 4 copies of it, you win the game. So just instant win. Could be pretty sweet in Commander. If you did this on your Biovisionary, just win the game pretty easily. But you can, Mirror Form you can use in a lot of different ways. If you have any other ideas for Mirror Form, I'd love to hear about it. But this one seemed like the most simple, straightforward, instant win with Mirror Form. All right, let's go to our next one, which is the High Perfect Morkant. 4 mana for a 4/4. And whenever it or another elf you control enters, each opponent blights 1. So again, blight is, they put a -1/-1 counter on it. And then this kind of goes semi-infinite, like almost infinite with Flourishing Defenses, which says whenever a -1/-1 counter is placed on a creature, you get a 1/1 green elf token. So you can kind of see those two abilities mirror each other. You get the token, if you had the Flourishing Defenses and you play this, it'll trigger it to blight, and then the -1/-1 counter is placed on it. Then you get an elf, and that triggers the blight, and then you basically destroy your entire opponent's board and create a ton of green elf tokens yourself. You can tap those to proliferate if you wanted to as well, but pretty powerful 1/2 combo here. Seems like pretty strong, and you could even play the Morkant as your commander and play the Flourishing Defenses as well. All right. So this is a janky sort of standard combo. 10,000 damage. I couldn't stop myself from thinking of Jumbo Cactuar combos for obvious reasons. But Jumbo Cactuar, when it attacks, it basically has 10,000 power. But, they can chump block it. If you play it, then it gives them a turn to respond, destroy it, wrath the board, so you don't get to attack with it. All sorts of issues with this card. However, Impolite Entrance is quite impolite in this sense that it's winning the game instantly if you cast it on a Jumbo Cactuar. Just 1 mana to give a creature trample and haste, which is exactly the 2 abilities Jumbo Cactuar desperately needs. Trample to get through any chump blockers and haste to just instantly win. So if you are able to ramp up to 8 mana, which honestly isn't too hard in standard, with like Badgermole Cub, things like that, you could just go Cactuar, Implied Entrance, hit you for 10,000, and draw a card. So that could be pretty fun. I don't know, probably pretty janky, but sounds like something I would try on this channel. So stick to the channel for that if you're interested. All right, next up we've got Infinite Ashling's Commands, which is 5 mana for a Kindred Instant Elemental. Create a token that's a copy of target elemental you control, so you get to choose 2 of these. Target player draws 2 cards and deals 2 damage to each creature target player controls, or target player creates 2 treasure tokens. So I'm not 100% sure, but I believe you have to have another elemental in play for this to work. So let's say you have any other elemental in play. You cast the Ashling's Command targeting that. With that on the stack, and then you get to choose the other mode. Whatever other mode you want to go infinite with, you can choose that mode. So with treasure tokens, you get infinite mana. With the damage, you can do infinite damage to your opponent's creatures. You could even target them with the draw cards to force them to draw their entire deck and win that way, or you can make yourself draw as many cards as you want. But if you have the Ashling's Command on the stack, you can play Lutri, which then comes into play and can make a copy of the Ashling's Command. The copy of it can then target the Lutri and make another copy of Lutri. And then you'll get the extra ability of whatever the second ability on the Ashling's Command is. Right, so then the new Lutri will come into play, trigger again, target the original Ashling's Command on the stack, and then you repeat over and over and over again for infinite iterations of whatever the sort of second ability you chose. So infinite treasures or infinite draw or infinite damage there. It would also trigger infinite creatures coming into play, again, if you had some trigger for a creature coming into play, but on its own could just win you the game with just these 2 cards. So pretty powerful stuff. If you have enough mana, maybe this is some cool commander-ish strategy, but I don't know. Seems pretty sweet to me. And then let's see. Yeah, we got 2 more, I think. I think I have a bonus one at the end. Yeah, Infinite Fairy combo with Pestered Wellguard. This is an uncommon 4 mana for a merfolk soldier, 3/2. And it says whenever it becomes tapped, you make a 1/1 blue and black fairy creature token with flying. And yes, we did. We broke Intruder Alarm again. And if you have a way to tap this over and over again, such as stationing or like a vehicle that it can crew, something like that, I thought Uthros would be just the simplest way to just tap it over and over again, because you can use that as a way to cast these 2 cards. Intruder Alarm, if you don't know what that does, it says whenever a creature comes into play, you untap all your creatures. So you tap it to make the token. Intruder Alarm triggers, untaps it, tap it again to make a token. Let's go infinite. As opposed to some other Intruder Alarm combos, though, this is interesting because you can play the Intruder Alarm on turn 3. If you have the Uthros or a way to tap it, you can play it and then immediately go infinite without exposing this guy to sorcery speed removal. So there is something to that, maybe, that makes it better than other Intruder Alarm combos. But I don't know, it's a little probably expensive for modern. I believe Intruder Alarm's legal in modern, but maybe some fun kitchen table magic or a commander combo here. All right, and then last up, we got a bonus. I couldn't resist because this combo is just super fun. Soul Immolation, which is 5 mana for a sorcery. As initial cost to cast this spell, you blight X, and X can't be greater than the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Deals X damage to each opponent and each creature they control. Wow, so if you have something with a lot of toughness, such as the Walls of Ba Sing Se, thank you, Avatar, with 30 toughness, you can choose this X to be 30. And you actually don't even have to destroy your own Walls of Ba Sing Se. You could blight onto like a 1/1 creature, I believe, if you wanted to do that. And you would do 30 damage to each opponent, which would be pretty good. Especially in Commander, or if their opponent has less than 30 life, you just kill them, and it would probably destroy all their creatures. So this seems like a pretty strong combo. It's a lot of mana, but again, something probably janky combo I'm going to try to pull off on the channel. So if you enjoy watching that kind of stuff, stick to the channel for that. So that is actually 11. I threw in a bonus one for y'all here. Infinite or instant win combos from Lorwyn Eclipsed. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these combos, any other combos that you can think of that you are enjoying or want to brew around or want to see me brew around on this channel. I will be playing in early access and, of course, when the set releases on Arena. And so if you have any brews or requests or ideas, just let me know. I might consider them for the channel, or just let me know if you're hyped for the set at all. I think a lot of people are pretty excited about this one because returning back to Lorwyn is pretty sweet, and these cards look pretty awesome, and there's some exciting combos. So hope you enjoyed it. Again, thanks so much for watching. Shout out to anyone who is a member or has supported my channel. Really appreciate you, and hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next video.